Welcome back to Folk Tales. Okay, so I just finished this book called The Unsolved Historical Mysteries. I found it at Half Price Books, and it is super interesting, has some fascinating stories. And I came across one story that my kids absolutely love, so I thought if all my kids like this story, you guys would like it too. And it's called The Lost Children of Woolpit, or better known as The Green Children of Woolpit. So today, my story takes place in Woolpit, England in the 1100s. Here we go. So in the mid-1100s, wolves roamed these dark, dangerous forests of Woolpit, England. So what the villagers would do, they would dig these huge holes that hopefully would capture these large beasts. And that was just the way that they used to live. And so they were scattered all around the village in hopes of protecting their people. Well, my story takes place on one specific morning, all right? The villagers had gotten home from work the night before, digging their holes. Everything was as it should be. The next day, they went and they were checking the holes to see if they had caught anything over the night, when all of a sudden, they came across this one hole, and sitting in the middle of it were these two young children. Now, these young children were not like any other children from around their village or anywhere around the surrounding areas. You know why? Because these children were green from head to toe. Green skin, green hair, green pigment, everything was green. And also they were wearing these clothes, these garments that were made from this material that no one had ever seen before. They didn't know where it came from. They had never felt it before. It was strange, and it got them very intrigued. So one of the local landowners decided he was going to take these kids in and take care of them and kind of figure out their story, what happened to them. However, they refused to eat anything. They spoke gibberish, and no one could console them. So days went by when all of a sudden one of the little boys went outside and he saw these raw green beans growing in the garden. And so he went up to them after days of not eating anything, and he picked them out of the ground and he started eating them. Well, the landowner sat there in shock because this boy would not eat anything for days. He wouldn't even drink anything. And yet he walked right up to the raw green beans and he grabbed them out of the soil and he started eating them. So for the next couple weeks, the landowner harvested all of his green beans and he cooked them, and the children gradually started eating and gradually got some of their energy up and became more comfortable with the people in the town. And over the next couple months, they incorporated their language into their lifestyle. And these children from this unknown town, unknown place, picked up English and were able to communicate with them. And so over time, they ended up getting the craziest story. And still to this day, people don't know what quite happened or where it originated from. But I want to tell you the story about the Green Children of Woolpit. The way that this story goes, this brother and this sister come from a town that was called St. Martin's Land. Now, the sun never shone there. It was twilight all the time, all right? There were stars everywhere. It was dark. They didn't even know what the sun was until they had actually gotten to this village, all right? And everything was green in their town. The people were green. The trees were green. The clothing was green. Everything was green. Well, one day they were herding their father's animals when one of the animals went into this cave and they followed after it. Well, the minute they got in this cave, they heard these bells chiming. Ding, ding, ding. And so they followed the animal a little bit in. They followed the noise a little bit more, and pretty soon they said they were like in a trance, that this bell just completely raptured all of their attention and brought them deeper and deeper and deeper into this cave. And pretty soon they exited the cave and they saw what we know as the sun. This bright light just blinded them for the first time, and they fell into this pit. And that's where they were found by the local villagers, all right? Well, the villagers decided they were going to go back and they were going to follow this trail from what the kids explained. And so they went back and they found what looked like a cave, and they went in deeper and deeper, but they could never find an exit. There was no ending to this cave. There was no beginning except for where the kids were found. However, they did find some edging. They did find some carvings in the side of this cave that proved that their story was actually true. And since then, many explorers have gone in there, but they can't find this mysterious cave's exit, and they can't find this lost village, this lost town, this lost place that these kids originated from. So, over the years, they've come up with many different theories. One, these were aliens that came from another land and time warped into here, and they couldn't get back because the time warp has now closed. Or these kids came from this town that was under surveillance, that was under protection, that a king had forbidden them from ever leaving. So he pretty much locked them in this town, in this cave system, so that they never saw the sun again. Or that this is just a made up story and that these kids came from a town and all they ate was green beans. And so eventually all the nutrients in the green beans and coloring dyed their skin green. But to this day, nobody knows. But it has been documented over the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years that this story is actually true. And there are these green children out there that eventually went on to lead normal lives. So to this day, it's a big mystery. Like, where's this town? Where's St. Martin's Island or land? Nobody knows. But people, until they find some more answers, will keep on exploring and trying to figure out more. And so that's what I want you to do, all right? I challenge you. If something intrigues you, go out there and do some research and figuring out the story, get more information. Be creative. Be inquisitive. Ask questions, because you never know what you're going to find. So I hope you enjoyed my story today. It was a little bit shorter than my usual ones, but if you tell me that there's a story about a land that no one can find and that there's green children coming out of that land, I'm going to do some research, and I hope you enjoyed my story.